Hello, dear colleagues. Let me introduce myself. I am Oksana Tjupa, Charter President of Rotary Club Kyiv International, and we want to share this presentation as explanation what we were doing during the year of war and what results we have achieved during this period. From the very beginning of war, our club was very much distributed around the world because many of our Rotarians moved to many countries and other cities. Some of us became refugees. It means that we left the territory of Ukraine. Some of our Rotarians became IDPs, internally displaced people. It means that they moved from the east to the west and they stayed inside of the country. When the martial law started, no man could leave the territory of Ukraine. Men from the age of 18 till 60. So many of Rotarian men were left inside of Ukraine. My family and I, we became IDPs and we moved to the Ivano-Frankivsk region, became IDPs, internally displaced people. These days, most of us come to Kyiv, but we have our families, especially families with children. They are staying in other countries or other cities. Let me share my screen and show you the brief presentation about what we were doing these days. So first of all, this is the map of Ukraine. And as you know, in the first month of war, Chernihiv, Kyiv, Kharkiv regions were occupied, as well as Donetsk, Lugansk region, and Zaporizhia, Dnipropetrovsk region, and Kherson region. These regions. And at this map, you can see the mapping of our shelter project, the project that we were doing shelters around Ukraine. In every region, we have a few shelters that we have equipped with our bedding and home appliances. So we started the first project that we started, one of the first that we started was shelter project. What we were doing. We were equipped in old schools, kindergartens, and hospitals with beds, mattresses, pillows, blankets, so that people could sleep, because it's a basic need when people are staying in their new apartments because they were fleeing from the war, and they needed to stay somewhere in not bad conditions. I mean, not to sleep on the street. So the local communities were providing these premises that belonged to local community, and they allow us for these people to stay. What is very important for us is that these people were staying without paying for rent or for accommodation. In most cases, local authorities were paying for them. And many Rotary clubs were helping us with providing bedding and home appliances for these premises. In most cases, people preferred to have fridges, washing machines, and filtration systems for clear water, because these premises were not used for many people living there. That's why they needed more filtration system. So by now we have equipped more than 70 shelters with different kinds of help, and we continue our work. From the very first days of war, we were delivering a lot of hygiene products to shelters and families, because people were escaping the war, so they were coming as they are, I mean, without any clothes, without any baggage, and many of them needed just basic needs of hygiene products, soap, cleaning devices, and so on, so that people could stay with it. And we were bringing a lot of trucks of support, and I will tell you later about the humanitarian support with all of this stuff, hygiene and many other. We had a project organized by one of our members from a Rotary Club, and he owns a few fitness centers, and in 4 centers he organized the rehabilitation for volunteers, patrol police officers, and military personnel in Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa, and Yuzhno-Ukrainsk region. So during the period of 2022, we had opportunity to help more than 200 beneficiaries for rehabilitation, psychological, physical, and we helped the people who suffered as victims from Russian aggression. We had a small project with one of the Kyiv Rotary clubs, providing them support with net production. We had also opportunity to pay for linen. We were paying for canvas or for linen materials for production for linens for wounded people. The production was in Lviv region, and they were providing the linen for hospitals in the east of Ukraine. There was a wonderful project where we are thankful to our Italian district. They have bought us 2 ambulances, and we brought them to one to Chernihiv and one to Kharkiv for free because it was paid by our Italian clubs. We were helping with a lot of with food, medicine, and other supplies. What we had in May. In May, we started cooperation with International Organization for Migration, and the 3 regions were deoccupied, Kyiv, Chernihiv, and Kharkiv region. We started helping with deoccupied territories, with non-food items, with repairing kits, so that people who were staying at this territory could repair their houses themselves. And as you see at these pictures, the damage caused by Russian invasion was terrible and tremendous, and these people were helping they got materials to repair their houses. We trained teams to examine shelters in Dnipro, Kryvyi Poltava, Kyiv, and Cherkasy and Poltava region, about 5 or 6 regions. We have examined more than 2,000 shelters to provide them help and support, and we were involved in several Rotary clubs. We had a wonderful project with water filters. First, we were delivering them from abroad, but later on, we were purchasing them and delivering to different hospitals, shelters all the time. And I think that we have provided more than 50 shelters for more than $500,000 from different clubs support to delivering them to people who needed filtrated clear water for drinking. There was a very interesting project in March, in the first months of war, when the food chains were ruined, and there was opportunity to deliver chicken for people for free in the beginning of war, and this food was distributed on the streets of Kharkiv, Chernihiv, and Kyiv region. And we have distributed more than 400 tons of frozen chicken, the cheapest meat. And even Kharkiv clubs were formed a first humanitarian hub due to this, thankful to this big project, because more than 200 Rotarians of Kharkiv were distributing food on the streets every day, and this helped a lot to arrange people helping face to face on the streets at this hard period of time when everybody was in disorder and everything was in disorder. There was a project that we were delivering food to trained personnel in March. And as you know, March was the evacuating month, and more than 5 million people were evacuated with the help of our Ukrzaliznytsia, the train system, for free. And many of the personnel of Ukrzaliznytsia were working around the clock without even having shower or even having food for many weeks, and for more than 5 weeks. And what we were doing, we were helping with food in March in Kyiv, Poltava, Lviv, and other regions, and we were providing this help and support to the people inside of trains, the personnel. We prepared food for people in bomb shelters. As you know, our bomb shelters are not equipped for bombing, and with no toilets, no heating water. They're very cold. That is the reason why people needed warm food, warm hot food, and warm clothes. We purchase and delivered food and clothes to shelters for children. We have these kinds of families that adopt up to 10 orphans, and we had this kind of family, and they needed special support because many of them were left abandoned. We constantly attract humanitarian aid. And here I want to tell thanks to all Rotarians in Romania, Poland, and many other countries who were providing trucks with humanitarian support to Ukrainians, and were loading this in big amounts. And we were very happy for this support because we arranged a few teams delivering humanitarian aid in the first 2 months of war. There was Kyiv-Chernigiv team that was delivering humanitarian aid to Chernigiv from Kyiv. There was Uzhgorod-Dnipro team who was delivering humanitarian aid from Uzhgorod to Dnipro and back. There was Poloneta team who were delivering humanitarian aid to remote villages in Dnipro, Kharkiv region, Chernigiv region that were difficult to achieve. As you know, we have a very strong Rotaract club, and this club is very famous because they, in the first months, they assembled and they made a Telegram group, and they were collecting orders around Kyiv and region and helping people, old people who were abandoned by their families, because many of them refused to leave their house and they didn't have opportunity to go even to go out of their house or of their flat. And that is the reason why our volunteers made a team distributing water, pampers, medicine, food around Kiev by orders, so that these people could have something to eat, to drink, and to survive in these few first weeks of war when everybody was in complete shock and nobody knew what to do. As we had a project for bomb shelters providing warm clothes for people in basements. We had a very nice project for training our IDPs, internal displaced people, when 40 IDPs we trained to be recruiters during 2 months of online trainings, and they got a new profession. Our Rotaract team arranged about 1,000 people who were evacuated from Kyiv, Chernigiv, Kharkiv to Lviv, and other Rotary Lviv clubs were helping to go further to other countries, to people with disabilities. When I'm telling about people with disabilities, I speak about people on wheelchairs, blind people, and so on. People with special abilities. We didn't know that this problem could happen, but in fact, many of pets became abandoned. Of course, we were not helping much, but many of Rotarians and volunteers were collecting these small items, small creatures on the streets, and helping them to be with food and in warm condition, because it was in March, and in March we have real winter in Ukraine. And you see that many of flats and houses of our volunteers became small zoo that are waiting for their owners to come back and to take them. You know, we are purchasing, and we will continue to purchase thermostatic tourniquets, stop bleeding items, and it's non-stop items that we needed and we're collecting all the time. There was project that we were providing gasoline to our ambulances in Kyiv and Chernigiv because they were working around clock. Our Chernigiv team was providing food to many hospitals and people outside. Our Dnipro team was delivering medicine and humanitarian aid. When Slavodich, Borodyanka, Irpin, Bucha were liberated, our volunteers rushed there with humanitarian aid also to support. In the first months, we didn't have opportunity to provide any branding. Only in April, we started doing these covers and stickers with Rotary branding. When disaster grants started, there was one of the first of our disaster grants providing food, and for us it was a big honor that at that moment Kharkiv region was liberated from Russians, and the first people who came with humanitarian aid were our team from Rotary. We have a very nice project together with our partner, International Organization for Migration, and by now we have almost 200 100,000 people who we have registered for payment from United Nations. So it is more than 100,000 families that include almost 200,000 people. Our role is to register and validate these people, and after our validation, these people get payment to their private cards, so the cash for people. As I told you, we are very good in filtration, because when the war started, we have a terrible ecological problem. Because before the war, there was no such a problem with water, clear water in Ukraine. But due to heavy bombing, chemicals that got into water and poisoned our drinking water in behind the ground. So it is very difficult to take this water from wells or drills, especially in villages. That's why they need a special filtration system. And we were purchasing and installing many of filtration system to orphanages, schools, kindergartens, hospitals, so that people could have clear drinking water. These days we are finishing in March of 2023, we are finishing solid fuel and heaters project that covers now 10 regions. We have 10 already regions of Ukraine. We are helping more than 40,000 households in almost 70 communities. What we are purchasing and what our partner gave us money for purchasing and delivering and distributing solid fuel, heaters and ovens, and repairing kits. So this is the amounts for every region. So we are providing a solid fuel, wood, ovens, heaters, and repairing items so that people could repair their houses. When we had this terrible problem starting with October, when there was bombing for our infrastructural objects, we had problem with blackouts. This is a photo of our city when we have blackout. So it means that for many hours we could sit without electricity, and that was a terrible problem because it was a problem with multi-story buildings that didn't have water, toilets, and heaters and whatever. So that was terrible situation. And many of our partners and donors were providing us generators. That was very helpful for us. And we were installing generators and delivering them to any part of Ukraine. During the New Year, Christmas, and Nicholas Day, Saint Nicholas Day, we were doing a project Children of Hope, together with art therapists who were drawing together with children to help them to draw their fears and to get rid of them. So these pictures we were scanning, and we were making special postcards to send them to our donors as a thank you letter. As you know, Irpin and Bucha are the cities that were liberated from Russian invasion, and we made several holidays for almost 1,000 children, and we made them holiday gifts also, and it was happy for us. We started with cooperation with USAID, our partner, and we started with the first shelter for repairs with Berezань project in Kyiv region. There were a few small donors who were paying for repairs in other shelters, and the shelter are ready then for installing bedding and home appliances together with us. As you know, before the war, we had a very wonderful project, Welfare of Nation, and that was involving our Rotary. By now, we survived with this cash flow game. It's a training for financial development and soft skill developments. This is a number of games and of trainings that we almost 400 of them that we held last year. Before the beginning of war, 1 week before the war, we had this wonderful competition in the central building of our government, city government, together with more than 150 people in our competition. And we made this project just 1 week before the war started, just for you to show how big our project was. And for financial literacy, we involved more than 50 schools, more than 3,000 volunteers, and more than 10 universities in Kyiv and the region. As I told you, we started also a filtration project. So together with our partner USAID, we are purchasing now more than 20 big filtration system for emergency services. First, there was very wonderful donor who provided US-Ukraine Foundation, who provided us 4 big filtration system for emergency service. And that was the beginning of our cooperation. Now we are providing with another donor more than 20 big filtration systems for with more than $100 each for all emergency services around Ukraine. There are 24 emergency services. This is the need for Ukrainians by now. Food, clothes, generated food boxes, gasoline, heaters, medicine, mental health care, physical care, houses, repair, gifts for Christmas and other for children, and a lot more. Anyway, in the end of this presentation, I want to thank you to all donors that helped us all this year. It was a big support of you. Thank you for all your prayers. Thank you for helping our children. Thank you for helping our refugees abroad finding their place, learning language, helping with adapting with children in schools, helping finding jobs and finding a new life. Because we hope that this war will end soon. We are completely sure that we will win. But we need your support, and thank you for all of your support, because it is a big help for us that we don't feel that we are alone. We feel that we are together with you, and thank you for this big support with all your money, items, prayers, any mental, physical support that you are providing us. Thank you, and Slava Ukraini. Bye.